Hi everyone, welcome to our next Small Victories postcard video using Tombow Irojiten pencils. Yesterday I didn't actually say what the pencils were, but hopefully you've been watching the series and you will know. Now we are going to use blues today. I think it's quite fun that we seem to be going through the rainbow. Well, not exactly in rainbow order, but we did, you know, the purple, the orange, pink, yellow, green. So now we're going to do some blue. Let's get you back in the middle. There we go. It won't all be blue, like with some of our earlier ones. We'll do some green leaves and things, but I thought we would do quite a dark blue for the roof of the building. We've got 3 sets of roofs. We might do them slightly different, so we've got quite a few different blues. I'm just having a look at the shades and deciding, excuse me, that one's quite green. Deep Sea and Peacock. I think we'll go for this one. We'll start with the midnight blue. There we go. And we'll do this main centre roof. So just going to get some down really and see what sort of colour it is. Now we are going to come back and put more layers on, so don't press too hard yet. This is nothing, no way our final layer. What I'm going to do is under this one put in a line, then we're going to just extend that towards the tip of these little singular tiles like that, and we'll do the same for these. So just colouring more layers towards the top and less towards the tip, so we can make it look a little bit like the tiles are stacked on top of each other. And if you look at a roof, like I can do actually through my window right now, you can see that that is how tiles are actually stacked. Well, they are on the roof opposite me anyway. So it's nice to give that little impression. I'm just going to go back and darken those lines where they're overlapping, just to try and really emphasize that sort of stacked effect. Just tidying this last row is a bit messy. There we go. Now the other 2 roofs I'm also going to do in a darker colour, but not the same colour. I think it's quite nice to mix it up a bit. We haven't got that much to colour. I'm trying to work out what that, oh, it's the chimney with the leaf behind. Couldn't work out what it was. Oh, excuse me. I think I'm going to do the lapis lazuli just because it's a fun colour for the other 2 roofs. You could keep all 3 the same, but I think, as I say, it's nice to vary it a bit. So here's our lapis, as my sons would call it. They use it in Minecraft. Okay, now I'm thinking, I'm just layering it up a little bit, that we want it a bit darker here where it meets this other building, the other part of the building, and then going to use it here as well and put a darker bit there. There we go. Now the main house colour, so I thought we'd do a lighter blue. It seemed to make sense, so I'm going to have a look at my swatch chart and find one that looks a bit like the midnight blue, that would sort of be, I think the porcelain blue is a nice, I think this is it, similar-ish but paler tone. So here it is, porcelain blue, and I'm going to do that for this building. Just going to put a little layer down. And then start to just build it up a little bit with some layers. I'm never quite sure how to do light and shade on a house. I tend not to really on the main part, unless it's a round one, and then it would be darker on the sides, but just going to do that until it feels intense enough. And then the other 2, we're doing a lighter version of our lapis. I'm just having a look. I think maybe the Celeste blue might work. I don't know whether it will look significantly different because it's so pale, but we'll see. Oh, it does look different to me, but on camera might be hard to see the difference. I'm trying to do a darker bit just where it's near this building. Quite dark in a pale, quite difficult, I mean, in the pale colour. Oh, and we're also going to do the chimney. There we go. Now we've got the door frame and the door. I'm going to use the indigo for the door frame. I quite fancy it standing out quite a bit. And I think the door handle too. And then the actual door, I'm tempted by the kingfisher, but I think it's quite bright. Perhaps it would work really well actually. I'm going to give it a sharpen and then you can have a look and decide. Kingfisher. Bright and welcoming, isn't it? Okay, now I think that's all our blue because we've got plants and windows. Now it is night time, look at these stars, so we can have quite a bright colour through the windows that would work. I think I'm going to go for the firefly yellow. And it's quite bright. Oops. Let's just brush that away. There we go. And I think I'm going to do the stars in an even darker yellow. I am thinking the dandelion might make them stand out even more. Now you might want to do this, you might want to colour in a bit of a background. I haven't done a background for any of the others. Quite small. There we go. Now for my plants, I'm going to do these two the same. The grass is the same, and then this one different. So let's have a look at our greens. Now I think bluey greens work well with blues. It sort of makes sense, doesn't it? So I am going to grab a mint green to start with. I think it's quite pale, but I think we can make it work if I can get it out of the pencil case. There we go. Mint green. I'm going to use it for the centre one. And I'm going to just try and layer it up. So really intensely near the base of that leaf. And then less towards the tip. And just work around. It's funny, we were talking about names in yesterday's video. I was thinking about names because a friend of mine's just had a baby. And it reminded me of how hard it was to think of a name for my children. When I was studying psychology, I was quite interested in names, in full names, Christian names, I sometimes call them. And I'm just choosing my next colour. Do we want to keep it pale, darker, maybe a bit darker, maybe our parrot green. We used him on the last one though, didn't we? Let's use spruce. Where are you, spruce? There you are. The light is shining again off the silver names. It's making it very hard. I'm going to do these in spruce. And I'm going to make them darker at the base than at the tip. Now when I chose my children's names, I decided that I wanted a name that couldn't be mistaken. I've got two boys that couldn't be mistaken for a girl's name. because I used to often get called a boy when I was young because I had short hair and often wore trousers and things, and I hated it. And I realise these days young people have different ideas about, there's a bit of belief there I've missed, isn't there, about gender and things like that. But for me, I didn't like it, and so I didn't want them to have to go through that. Also, I remember in my school, there were certain classes that we did split up, single sex, in the PE, and when the boys did DT, carpentry and woodwork, we did cookery, needlework. You know, they don't do that anymore, thank goodness, everyone does everything. But back then, and so the teacher would have had the class list, and they would have had to have picked out the girls' or boys' names to do the register with, and or to find out who was there and that sort of thing. And the teachers had to guess from the names of the children whether they were male or female. And I remember much laughter when the teacher got it wrong. Everyone thought it was really funny, and I thought it was rather cruel to sort of make the teachers do that. I suspect these days they wouldn't. But it gave me some thoughts about names as well from that sort of situation. Isn't it funny how these sorts of experiences really influence us later? I'm just choosing my final colour. I'm going to use the hummingbird for the grass. But I ended up choosing a name for one child that could be either male or female, but I just really liked it. And of course it wasn't just my decision, their dad had a say too. And yeah, and we chose short names because of our surname being fairly long. We're thinking poor kids having to learn to write that. But it's a little bit short-sighted really, because once they've learnt it, and you know, it's a lifetime thing. But anyway, I studied names, and that I found that really popular names, Christian names, sort of people with really popular names tended to score average in their examinations, and people with names that nobody else had tended to either do very well or very badly. And I wanted to investigate this more, and when I did my PhD, unfortunately no one wanted to tutor me on it because they said not enough work had been done on it. And I ended up starting my PhD doing something very different, and I just didn't really enjoy it because I wasn't studying something I was enthusiastic about. My tutor wanted me to just do their pet project, which was a bit annoying. So in the end I gave up. It was expensive as well. But anyway, we are done with our little house. Blue today. So tomorrow we won't be using blue. Yeah, tomorrow's going to be a bit different because we've got a key. So yeah, I've got an idea. We'll see if it works out tomorrow. It'd be interesting. Anyway, tune in tomorrow to find out whether it really is interesting. I hope you have a fabulous day today. Thank you so much for watching. Please tell all your friends about my channel. That's another way of sort of getting word out there about colouring books. If you're in any colouring groups and people are looking for someone to watch for tutorials, I always appreciate it when people drop my name in there. It's really actually very, very flattering, and thank you for those of you that do that. But anyway, have a super day. Thank you so much, and happy colouring.